Yep, look, the window.
Here comes Travis. Oops, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Rain has not relented across western Washington as multiple rivers continue their rise toward dangerous flood levels and evacuation orders spread across entire counties. Tens of thousands of residents are now facing the real possibility of needing to leave their homes as swollen waterways push beyond major flood stage, and emergency crews are racing to assist stranded families, close hazardous roadways, and prepare for record rises expected through the week.
Coming to you live at the Trestle Log Jam. That is pretty wild. I mean, it is built up. Holy.
Heavy, persistent rainfall that began earlier in the week has been funneling off the Pacific Ocean and into the region, dropping 4 to 8 inches or more of rain in parts of the Cascade Mountains and foothills. As this moisture-laden storm system moves up against the terrain, it is wringing out rain that has spilled into lowland valleys and river basins, overwhelming drainage systems and causing widespread flooding from Bremerton to Bellingham and beyond. In Skagit County, northeast of Seattle, officials have issued evacuation orders for communities along the Skagit River, where water levels are projected to climb 6 feet or more above historical records. Governor Bob Ferguson's office reported that up to 100,000 Washington residents could soon be under evacuation orders as rivers like the Skagit and Snohomish continue to rise.
I've never seen it come into the big barn like this.
The governor activated the state's National Guard, positioning 300 members to respond to requests for assistance in flood rescue and community support operations throughout the hardest-hit zones. Emergency managers are closely monitoring water gauges throughout the region, and several rivers were expected to reach their crest early Thursday morning as rainfall continued unabated.
This is just crazy. This is wild. You feel the whole concrete shaking. Oh my God. Jeez.
In the Puyallup Valley southeast of Tacoma, flood warnings prompted similar evacuation notices, with emergency crews and law enforcement urging residents to move to higher ground. Along Interstate 90, a landslide triggered by saturated soils shut down several eastbound lanes outside Seattle, backing traffic up for miles and complicating rescue efforts.
Hey Bethany, tell everybody hey, this is the backyard. Believe it or not, that's not part of the creek. The creek's back here. It's running up here though.
Parts of United States Route 2 over Stevens Pass in the Cascade Mountains remain closed as falling rocks, mud, and debris block the roadway, with no detour available for motorists. Transportation officials have warned that more closures are likely as rain persists, and saturated slopes continue to give way.
Definitely coming over the bank here. This is still part of the yard for a few minutes. That's part of the creek now.
On the Snoqualmie River, rising water spilled over banks and slowly encroached on homes and properties near Falls City. The famed Snoqualmie Falls, plunging 268 feet, were reported to be among the most powerful in nearly a decade, and river gauges suggested flows could reach levels not seen since the mid-2010s. Residents in vulnerable areas were already coping with standing water in yards and streets, and emergency alerts have been expanded as crews prepare for the possibility of levee overtopping in critical zones.
River, or whatever that is, Titan River.
Snohomish County Sheriff's deputies conducted helicopter rescues for residents trapped by surge floodwaters in their homes. In one case, emergency personnel airlifted family members from flood-encircled houses north of Seattle as waters continued to rise around them. In parts of Sultan, voluntary and mandatory evacuation notices were in effect late Wednesday night as downtown stormwater systems reached capacity and water backed up through drains. Fire and rescue units posted updates urging people to avoid walking or driving through floodwaters, emphasizing that even a few inches of moving water can be dangerous, and that motorists should not underestimate the power of rapidly rising streams.
Sitting at the corner of Cispus and Klein Road, and this is our back road to get out of here, and it's of course is shut down. Not looking good.
In Ording, southeast of Tacoma, deputies responded to multiple calls from a local recreational vehicle park, where waters from the Puyallup River swept through the site. Rescuers waded through waist-deep water, using inflatable boats to reach residents and bring them to safety. By midday, approximately 40 homes in the area had been evacuated, and local officials issued additional warnings for those living near levees farther upstream, as river forecasts showed continued increase.
our house will be perfectly fine. We're on a
Can I
hill.
tell you something? And if it's not, we can always go to Dad's house.
Look at that.
And when Sissy just said,
Look at that water. It's right by the trail. Oh, the trail's flooding now.
Across western Washington, at least 8 rivers had reached major flood stage by Wednesday morning, a level that typically means widespread flooding is impacting roads, businesses, and homes. Forecasts held that nearly 20 more rivers could enter that category before the weekend, an indicator of how large an area was being affected. The Skagit River at Concrete was already more than 6 feet above major flood stage and on track to surpass its previous high watermark by early Friday. At Mount Vernon, major flooding was expected to worsen, potentially topping the record flood height by more than 2 feet. The Snohomish River near Monroe was above major flood stage as well, with forecasters expecting continued rise into Thursday evening. Outside the immediate urban corridors, standing floodwater-covered farmland and affected rural roadways, making travel dangerous and slow. Residents in North Bend and the foothills near the Cascade Crest reported quickly rising water, even in places that had held firm just a day earlier. In Bellingham, north of Seattle, rainfall totals in a 24-hour period shattered local records, underscoring the intensity of the storm's punch.
Dude, I'm so glad we have tequila.
They'll probably be doing that all night.
Oh, shit. I've never seen that waterfall like that.
You know how fresh that water is right there? Oh,
Yeah, we have our life straws. Oh, Gabe, there's that back tap in right there when you walk in, that smaller one. I'll grab that.
Officials have repeatedly urged residents to take flood warnings seriously and to avoid driving through water-covered roadways. Floodwater, moving at even 6 inches, can knock a person off their feet, and a foot of water can carry away most vehicles. With this in mind, evacuation planning and readiness remain essential for communities along rivers and in floodplains. Emergency shelters have opened in affected counties, and sandbag distribution continues to help homeowners protect vulnerable properties. Atmospheric conditions contributing to this prolonged event are tied to a vast plume of moisture stretching across the Pacific, a system that remains in place and shows little sign of weakening in the short term. This constant supply of warm, wet air is fueling the rainfall and complicating efforts to manage rising rivers and saturated terrain. For residents from Skagit Valley to the South Sound, preparedness and quick action are vital, as forecasts indicate that flood threats could persist through Friday and possibly into the weekend.